So the world is on fire, the dollar's being devalued, our economy is going down the drain, and I'm here trying to get you to improve your credit score. Why? Because in the event of an economic crisis, credit is going to be even harder to get. And you might be in a position where you need credit to make ends meet. Or there's a chance that the real estate market may take a tumble and you might want to be in the best position possible to take advantage, like everyone wishes they did in 2009. So let's fix your credit now instead of adding another struggle to our plate later. I've mentioned several times in my comments that fixing my credit was harder than learning about investing, which is true, but it's not actually difficult. It just takes time and dedication, so a lot of people give up. You can find your credit score by going to one of the major score conglomerates' websites, as well as using something like Credit Karma or even just one of your credit cards. They usually have a section that's like My Score, and you can click that. You want to look at all of your current accounts, your outstanding balances, what kind of status they're in, like if they're late, that kind of information. There are 5 major factors that go into determining your credit score. Some are worth more than others, but a positive rating for one factor can help uplift your negative ratings. First, let's talk about utilization. This is how much of your credit you are currently using. If you have a $100 limit on your Capital One card and you have a $50 balance, you have 50% credit utilization. Ideally, you want your total utilization, so all of your credit added up compared to all of your debt added up, to be less than 30%. It's even better if you can get it below 10, but 30% is a great starting point. Some people try to hack their credit utilization and make it look better than it is by paying before the due date but after the statement date. Whatever. If you need credit, that might be something to look at, but if you're just trying to repair your credit, it's probably not going to make that much of a difference. Sometimes you can also ask for a credit increase. That helps by increasing your line of credit, but not your balance. But if you already have a spending problem and you know that increase is just going to get spent, maybe don't go that route. Missed payments are also a major factor on your credit score. If you hit that 31-day plus delinquent mark, it's going to stick on your credit for a while. Try to make your payments on time. If you've been making your payments on time, but you missed 1 or 2 previously, often you can just mail your creditor a letter or call them on the phone and ask them very nicely to remove that credit ding because you've been a good customer. If you know you cannot make a payment, call them before. Usually they'll give you like 1 month or even multiple months to figure things out. These companies are much more likely to help you if you call before it's a problem instead of after. But that makes you look like you're an upstanding citizen just trying to do what's right, even if all of your charges are for Game of Thrones Funko Pops. The third factor is the age of your accounts. If you go on a spree and you open a whole bunch of credit cards at one time, that's really going to demolish your credit. If you open and close a bunch of cards, that will also hurt. If you're trying to rebuild your credit and you have like one old card and a couple that are just a couple years old and you close that old one, it's going to bring up the average age of your accounts and bring down your credit score. The credit score people want to see lines of credit that you've been paying on religiously for years. Related to that is the number of recent inquiries. Usually these only stay on your credit for like a year, but they hurt when they show up. If you're going to apply for a mortgage or get a car loan and you want to compare, or if you want to open multiple lines of credit all at one time for some reason, you're better off doing it in one day so you don't have like a bunch of little inquiries throughout the year that have to drop off one at a time. Going a year or so without applying for any credit can really help your score. Generally, this only applies to things they call hard inquiries, but I've been told something was soft when it was really hard, so I would be suspicious of anyone offering that. Also, just like quit opening new lines of credit and you won't have to worry about that. Lastly is your mix of credit. So this is looking at whether you have a bunch of store cards and nothing else, or if you have a mortgage and a car loan and 2 or 3 credit cards. Having just one type of debt is seen as kind of sketchy, like do you have a shopping addiction? Why would you need multiple vehicles? You can only drive one at a time, stuff like that. So I am not a financial advisor, a tax professional, a credit repair guru, anything like that. But one thing that I did that really helped was disputing everything. If you have bad marks on your credit, you can submit a dispute on all 3 major credit bureaus, and there's a chance they'll be removed. This is especially useful if you have something that's called delinquent debt. I have a whole video on that if that applies to you. You need to see to that first. But a lot of the times these companies that purchase debt secondhand don't have all of the paperwork and they cannot prove that it was actually you that took out a loan. Just ask and see if they can prove it. It takes very little effort on your part and you might get away scot-free with some stuff. Just ask and see if they can prove it's your debt, and if they can't, they have to remove it. Some creditors also offer what's called pay for delete. This is a situation where you may be able to contact your creditor, pay off the debt either in full, in a payment plan, or a lower negotiated rate, and have it removed completely from your credit score. That's something you definitely need to get in writing, and you need to keep up with that information. Sometimes you have to pay taxes on whatever they wrote off because it's technically your income. Talk to a tax guy about that. The best way to get out of these situations is to just stay out of them. I cannot suggest any kind of payday loans or title loans. Do not co-sign on anybody's car. I don't care if it's your mama or your best friend of 15 years. It's the best way to ruin your credit and your relationship. Quit opening credit cards and quit using the ones you've got. Figure out why you're in debt and take steps to correct that if possible. Like if you're in debt because you got hit by a tractor trailer, that's one thing. But if you just like love retail therapy and don't want to learn how to cook, that's a different issue entirely. Most of those guaranteed approval and quick credit consolidation loans are extremely scammy. The interest rates are really high, and most people do not learn their lesson. They pay off their cards immediately just to run them right back up, and then they need to take out another loan to cover the first one plus the new charges. It's an endless cycle that's easy to fall into, and I've seen it happen. It's pretty sad. Do you have any questions? Let me know.